Hey y'all, happy Thursday.
Hey. What's going on, honey?
What's going on?
How y'all doing? Y'all good?
Good.
Yes, girl.
Doing good, doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I was just telling y'all before, we are right around the corner from Black History Month and our anniversary. I wonder what we're gonna do for our anniversary.
We are.
I don't know. To be young, gifted, and Black on YouTube, who knows? Maybe Fox Soul or Call. You know, someone.
And we only
Aspire.
a year in it as a show. Only
Right.
a year. That's
And do you
insane.
see this branding? Come on. Come on.
Come on, God. Yeah.
All right. So y'all are here for a very special pre-show. We have a special guest to join us again for another time. Okay, we always have fun with her. So let me go ahead and welcome. Hey, Cree.
Hi, y'all.
Hey. What's up?
How are you?
I'm exhausted. I'm tired.
Nah.
I'm running. I'm working. So I'm just super, super exhausted. But I'm doing good.
Right. That's a good reason to be exhausted, to actually be
Working, booked, as Kelly
booked
Price
and
would
busy.
say.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. So we want to get into all about you. And of course, all about your time growing up hip hop. We had a lot of fun last time we interviewed you. So I was super excited to have you come on and us talk to you again. So I figured we could just go ahead and start out. You know, I was on Instagram today just scrolling and I saw a post come up. And I was like,
Post. So let me explain this post, ladies. I was literally standing up when the makeup artist was doing the picture, and I was like, am I sucking in? Am I sucking in? There was no inclination that I realized. My homegirl was like, your hand looks like a heart around your stomach. I posted thinking like, oh, this is a really pretty picture.
Ooh.
I mean, my phone was on, let me tell you, my phone was on D&D, and I got up, started my day, went back to the cell phone, and it was like World War III happened in Miami from even damn Lex Pierre Lewis, who does Rick Ross's marketing, was like, are you pregnant? What is happening? I'm like,
right.
I felt like I needed to go on the balcony and be like, hello, Miami. Minna pregnant. Minna breathe. Like, so I ended up taking the post down. My mom was in tears, and I'm just like, yo, I'm not.
She thought you didn't tell her.
Like, what's happening? So only a few, like my best friends were like, man, nah, it would be like a whole video. We would shut down Winwood or something for her announcement. This is not a pregnancy.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, wait, is this like a just a hand placement? Because you never know.
Sucking in? And she's like, yeah, you're sucking in.
And then I went back to your other pictures, and I was like, if this is true, if this assumption is true, then she snatched. I was like, hold on.
All right.
What's going on?
No. Exactly.
Unfortunately, no, I am not pregnant, and hopefully one day, then you guys will see a huge announcement if I am.
Okay.
Girl,
I was in the comments. Cree, what is that?
Yeah, right.
Archive.
I was excited.
All 3 posts profit without my hands.
Yeah.
Clearing that up.
Well, y'all heard it here first. I know the people was wondering because I was like, hold on, we're gonna talk about this.
Right.
What's tea?
Oh, all right. So let's get into a couple questions for the season. Let's start out. this last episode, we saw you having conversations with Uncle Luke, and you talked to him about the situation with Sequoia. So I wanted to know, from last season to this one, how has your relationship with your dad gotten better?
With him, I just have to accept him for who he is and where we're at right now. So I just continue to reach out. If it's reciprocated, it's reciprocated. If it's not, it's not. I've just closed that chapter on just saying, okay, this is who he is. Accept him for who he is. People have been dying all over the world from COVID. And at the end of the day, he is my father. And I'm just going to always keep that line of communication open. So even in that episode, I was extremely excited to see him because we weren't even supposed to film there at all. And we had communicated, and he said, oh, I'm going to that festival. And production was like, oh, since he's going, let's just go film. And it was actually funny because I didn't want to film. We had just gotten off the yacht from that first scene that you guys had saw opening up. Mm-hmm. That was right after. So I'm out there, I'm breaking it down, I'm winding it up, I'm dancing, hair all frizzen up. I'm like, yo, this is going to be the first time I'm on camera with my wig looking crazy. I know that. So it definitely was, but we ended up filming backstage, and it was fun, and he hung out with me the entire time. Like, that was the first time I could say, oh shit, like me and my dad authentically hung out without the cameras, because this was just a fluke.
That's cool.
In the same
time. That's good.
Yeah, it seemed to be positive energy. I was
sure.
Okay, this is a big difference.
Yeah, because I was so happy, and I know some of the viewers were like, he's just smiling and all excited talking about the Sequoia thing. I'm like, y'all, I was just with Spice over here, and now I'm with my dad. Like, I'm having a good time. I'm just trying to get this scene out so I could go back and catch the rest.
And finish,
yeah.
Okay. So my question is about TT. So like last season, we saw that there were rumors regarding TT's fiance at the time, like cheating on her. Mm-hmm. And you were a part of like sharing that information with Angela so that she could take it back to TT because that's her friend. So I just wanted to know, when you look back on that particular situation, do you regret that? Do you wish you probably would have went to her directly, or how do you feel about that?
With that, I wouldn't say I necessarily regret it, just because that's like you guys going to a venue, you're meeting a planner at the venue, and then all of a sudden, because the person that connected you with that venue, they find out something about your significant other, your spouse, your brother, your sister, whoever. What am I supposed to do? Do you want crudité? Also, your fiance might be cheating on you, but we can handle that after we figure out the aisle placement. Like, it just wasn't. In that sense, it wasn't my place to even go to her and tell her that. So I ended up actually telling, not Angela, it was Vanessa and Denise, who are her friends. Like, this is what's going on. You guys need to tell her to squash it. Now, was the way it was addressed to her could have been different? Yeah. But I'm like, the rumor should have stopped right there. It was never meant to be dispersed. And if I knew that was going to be placed, the blame was going to be placed on Cree, that it was dispersed, then of course I would have never wanted that for her, just because I'm like, listen, that's your relationship. And like I told Savannah, that's detrimental to her relationship, and that should have started in the beginning with her.
Okay. So did you have a conversation with Eric about it too, though?
No, I didn't have the conversation with Eric. That scene was JoJo, Denise, Eric, and then from there it went from Eric to his wife. So I'm like, it should have never left Girls' Day, but it's okay. I am #free the villain. So.
Okay. So moving on from there, this go round, you kind of immediately came at TT when y'all were all meeting up together. Like, as soon as you sat down at the girls' dinner, and it was like, why wait until y'all are on camera? You kind of came in like something had happened. So can you explain what was going on there?
So TT and we had a conversation via DM when she had reached out to me, when we were all like, her mom was saying stuff to me on Twitter. I was like, TT, get your mama, like things like that. And she was like, oh, is this just for film, or is it just for TV, or is it personal? And at that moment I told her, I said, listen, I truly don't like how you treat people in general. And that was just with people that were working on set with us. And I'm like, I don't like how you treat people. I stood between you and producers. And her reasoning behind it was like, she just didn't like them. But I don't like, I'm not that person to disrespect anybody that's working and that they're just genuinely doing their job. Like, your family's the one that put this rumor out, point blank. So we had that conversation, but as the season progressed, and then I saw like her telling people, oh, this bitch is on my list, and like when she told Vanessa that, and I'm not using her for my wedding. I'm like, okay, you're mad at your family. Why are you so? Why is all the animosity being addressed towards me? And then when I came in New York, I'm like, listen, no, don't come explain to me something. We squash something behind the scenes, and then it's super fake. Like, oh, let's clean glasses together on camera. Before we go on set, they keep us separate. So I didn't even know she was going to be there. I was told I was going to girls' night with Angela, Tts, and Vanessa. That's it. Because I had requested, I was like, I don't really care to film with her because she could have easily put out a statement on her after shows. I don't have an issue with Cree. It wasn't unprofessional. This all had to do with my family. She didn't do that one time. Never apologized about it at all. It was all on me when I wasn't even the one that spread the rumor. I told your friends. If it got from your friends somewhere else, then you need to talk to them, not me. Mm-hmm. Like, it was on camera. It is what it is. So that's why I was like, I didn't know she's going to be here.
Right. We heard you say that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Sequoia and Angela situation again. So we know you and Angela are friends. So why was it so imperative to you specifically that you had Angela's back when it came to Sequoia and the mention of her dating her child's father? Is it because how close y'all are, or what did you feel?
For me, I'm just like, in the beginning when she came in super hot. And then from watching the episode, she was like real big about, oh, if Angela doesn't know who I am. Angela's not the person to be in any drama on camera, but I'm going to protect her. For, Angela be like, time to go. And she'd be ready to shoot runs. I'm like, girl, sometimes you just got to get it. She insists, like, just get it together. But with that situation, that's just me in general. If if I have a friend that's with me and they're getting like attacked or somebody saying something to them and they're afraid to speak up in that moment, then I'm going to speak up for them. That's just my girlfriend group. So I was just like, okay, I guess people have a problem with this as well. So even with that situation with Sequoia during that whole fight, I'm like, yo, your problem is not with Angela. It's like with your baby father. Tensions were already risen. When I look back on that, maybe I should have been like, okay, let's sit down and talk about it. Because I was really it was just too much going on. I'm like, listen, it's your problems with your baby daddy. It's not with her.
It was a lot.
It wasn't me really trying to be like attacking her in that sense. And with that, I'm like, we could have rewind that and everybody should just calm down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that too, because you're right. That scene, to me, I was shocked because he was like, okay, like, no, like, I'm just gonna talk to her, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna calm down. Then all of a sudden, I was like, oh wow.
And Cree's like, with the security, I'm like, she's gone.
I can't.
Her switching. I was like, everybody calm down. I'm just gonna talk to her, and then it also plays a lot into production as well. It's a lot that everybody's not seeing behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? But if you go back to that episode and you look at the certain things, I'm having a conversation with her. And in the back, I can just see production starting to pull screens in the mirror. And then all of a sudden, you just see security step in front of me. And I'm like, why are y'all stepping in front of me? Like, I'm just like, why? We're still having a conversation. But why is security gearing up? Because they fed her my storyline. And they cut out the part where she was like, even if you could have kids. And that's when I went off. So it wasn't, everybody keeps saying, oh, Cree just attacked her out of nowhere. I'm like, y'all, she said what she said, and then it cuts to me attacking her immediately. I'm like, oh, so y'all just not going to play when she said, even if I can have kids? So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, all right.
Oh, wow.
Again, I am 1,000% okay with being the villain, because as much as people have been attacking me, telling me that that's why I have scrambled eggs, that's why I can't have kids.
Oh, come on, bro.
Gorilla, all this
that is crazy.
I'm like, but y'all are really not doing anything outside of growing up hip hop. So I'll take it.
Well, then there's that.
Right. So I have a question about the friendship with you and Savannah. I want to know, is this like a real friendship? Do you guys really communicate outside of the show? Let me know more about the friendship with her.
Savannah and I, we do communicate outside the show. Savannah she reminds me of me when I was younger. And I didn't have anybody around me to be like, I'm here to help you with what you need. There's a lot of stuff that I won't speak on that has gone on in her life and that is going on, which I'm hoping and I'm praying that they do show, because there was a lot of her vulnerability side that she ended up shooting. And I hope they just don't I hope the network just doesn't keep this I hate Savannah train and making Stevie look like he is the ultimate dad and she's a brat. And
I don't gotta worry about that, baby.
Oh, girl, yeah, no. She may look like a brat, but it looks like
that
it's his
part.
Absolutely.
It's
for sure.
truly capped on his end. So I really do hope that the network does show that other side of her, because the girl has gone through a lot and is still going through a lot. And I get those phone calls because she has no one else to turn to. So I'm like, all right, I'll be the one to pick up the phone call. You need this. I'll make sure you get this situated. So, but yeah, we do. It is a friendship, and I do try to help her out. Like, it's like a big sister, little sister thing.
Okay. So with that, I'm gonna actually expound upon that. Okay, so it is a sister, a big sister, little sister relationship. Does that mean you had a conversation with her about how that shit came off?
I did, and it was filmed. It was definitely filmed, and I thought maybe they would immediately play it after, when I was like, listen, even at the party when Devon was talking to her, I told her, like, yo, he's a grown-ass man. He's coming to you. He's apologizing. Accept apology and move on. Like, we don't have to keep going back and forth. And she ended up ceasing at that moment. The next day, the production was like, oh, are you okay to film? Are you fine? Because I was leaving. I told them, I said, I'm no longer filming because y'all tried it. They said, do you want to just film with Savannah? I said, okay, I'll film her. I told her, I said, when your tensions go high, because you're my homegirl, you could be dead ass wrong, and I'm gonna protect you in the streets, but I'm gonna tell you behind these closed doors that what you did was wrong. And I told her in multiple scenes that she was wrong. If they play it, they play it.
Okay. So right. You mentioned Devon and how that went down. During that scene, and I can tell it's cut up, but I need to understand what was happening between you and him, because the way the scene looks, it absolutely looks like the both of y'all were kind of going back and forth with him. It didn't look like you were like, hey, Savannah, he's trying to be nice. You know what I mean? It was, I think they filmed you saying to him that he can only defend his cousin so much, which I understood in the framework of you can't fight for her, but we're just having a conversation right now, and Savannah's on 1,000. So
this was the third time Devon had came over to us to communicate, and he was like, oh, you know, the whole defending conversation. And I told him, I was like, well, you can only defend her so much because we're women. So you can't really fight for her. And I'm like, she's sitting over there. I'm like, Savannah's over here cussing your ass out. She's not even helping you. Right. So it was more of that banter. They never even showed when Devon came up and Savannah was going in on him and me and him dapped up. And I was like, oh, it's COVID. Like, as a joke, I was like, it's COVID. We can't dap up. We introduced each other. And they went on the tangent about Twitter. That was the last conversation Devon and I even had. I was like, well, you can only defend her so much. But for Devon, I have no problem with Devon. We filmed together one more time, and we talked about that party, and I was like, I'm good. It's whatever Savannah has going on, she's her own woman. I can't control what she does.
Right. Okay.
So, did you watch the pool party episode, like with the rest of us on TV?
No.
Okay. So, have you even seen clips? Like, oh, you watched it before. Okay. So, what was going through your mind when you actually watched it? Because I know when you had the conversation with your dad, you said you blacked out. So, since you could actually see it on film, what was going through your mind when you watched it?
Yo, I really blacked out. because let me tell y'all, when she said that, my whole world went dark. I saw black. It was no one gonna stop me. Everybody was like, how'd she get around security? No one was gonna stop me. And what I really don't like, that she continues the narrative of we jumped her. If everybody goes back to that episode, you hear production screaming, Tiny, no, Tiny, no. Her mother came and ran up on me, and that's when I was like, oh, you want to run up on me? And I can't get around security, so I'm going to grab the pool balls. So that's when I started chucking pool balls. She had 2 other girls on set. If you notice, she was the one in the back. Girls were running up on me. But y'all think they're going to run up on me? Oh, no, I'm going to show y'all. So that's when I started grabbing the pool balls. And that was the moment where I was like getting my thoughts together. I was and I was calling JoJo. I was like, JoJo, get my phone. I'm ready to go. JoJo, get my phone. I'm ready to go. And my makeup artist was fixing my shoes. And I'm like getting my vision back. I see this blonde person running up at me. Blacked out again. I was like, oh. And that's why you hear production saying, Tiny, no, Tiny, no.
So the mom that told her to resolve everything was the mom that ran up.
Running up on me.
Okay.
And running straight up on me. So everybody needs to go back to that episode and listen to how production is screaming and see that little blonde lady that they blacked out. Because, and that's another thing that pissed me off. If someone finds a release with a network, no, show her face. But y'all didn't want to show her face because you guys didn't want Luke and Tina and Ted from Dade County to come to LA and figure out why some 60-year-old is running up on their daughter. That's why they blocked it out. But I told my parents, like, even when they saw it, and my dad, like, Luke called me, and my dad called me, Ted, and they were like, was that Tiny, like Casey JoJo Tiny running up on you? And I'm like, listen, she didn't make contact, I'm like making sure.
Right.
Protecting her.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, we don't need no Miami, California beef going on, because it wasn't cool. And when I filmed with her again, she came and talked to me. She's like, hi, I'm Tiny. I was like, yeah, I know. You were the person running up on me at the event. If they play it, they play it. If they don't, they don't. But I was like, yeah, I remember you from the last time I saw you running up on me.
Wow.
I'm like,
they probably won't. They probably won't
not.
because we didn't see that part. So did you feel yourself getting mad like 2 times over? Because once you blacked out, of course, because of the situation. So you watched that play out. But on screen, it was an entirely different narrative than what you experienced. So did you feel yourself get mad like 2 times over?
At first I got upset, but then when let me tell you, the reason why I was upset that the fight was even shown, and this is how like networks protect certain people. If you remember a few seasons ago when Egypt knocked out Brianna, they didn't show that, but it was all filmed. So why are y'all picking and choosing who to put on display when it comes to fighting? And when it comes
Why would they not show us that?
Right.
It was cut, and it was like, oh my gosh, she punched her. Is it because Pep's an executive producer and I'm not? But I got something for y'all. It's cool. The reason why I was upset was all I thought about was my mother, my future mother-in-law, or hopefully my future mother-in-law. She's so nice. She's nothing, no entertainment world. They're like the old school Haitian ladies. Like, she calls me her little baby and her princess. Like, my family's, they're all thugs. So they were all like, right. But with her, I was like, that was the only thing that I was like, I'm her little angel. I'm her daughter. I don't want her to see me like this. Like, that was the biggest thing for me. That was the first person that I thought about, honestly, when I watched it. I was like, hey, your mom is going to see this.
Oh, you like my family, no problem.
Right.
Yeah, my family was like, what was going on? We're confused. What's happening? My sister was like, who's this person?
All right, what do we need to do?
Right.
What time?
Like, it was like Miami was not playing with that. They were like, whoa, what's going on? But then it was Cree jumped her, Cree and Savannah jumped her. I'm like, nah, she was definitely ganged up at that event. So it wasn't
right.
Let's not play. Everybody needs to go back and look at the people that were not production. It's this big girl in a green when we were over there by the pool. And then you see her mom running up, and production is literally on camera screaming her mom saying, Tiny, no. Like, you hear that. And I'm like, nobody's going to ask who Tiny is? It's just
right.
a fictitious person.
Yeah, I really wanted to get some behind the scenes information, okay, to make a whole lot of sense. Because we didn't see you like this last season, you know?
No.
And I'm like, I really like Cree, but I don't like how she's going off for Savannah. I'm not liking this. Like, what is happening? Like, why would she want to, you know, come at Sequoia? Like, what is happening? So I am glad that you gave the background information that a lot of people are not privy to. But I do have a question regarding Sequoia. I wanted to know if you feel like she got a fair chance getting to know you, considering the fact it did seem like after the Angela stuff, you didn't care for her right out the gate. So do you think she had a fair chance?
It wasn't even after the Angela stuff. It was really after the Tts, like attacking Tts for no reason at the event. And I knew Tts was pregnant. She could claim she ain't know Tts was pregnant. Everybody knew Tts was pregnant at that event. He sat on the last whole night. She didn't drink one drop of liquor. Everybody knew she was pregnant from production A to Z. We all knew. That, like, when she was going at her, I'm just like, everybody gonna sit up. That's the thing. I think I'm a little too real for reality sometimes, because I'm like, y'all really gonna sit down for the drama scene to have this girl yelling at this girl and y'all sitting here knowing she's pregnant? Like, nobody's gonna say anything. So that's when I stepped in. I was like, yo, you seem like you have a lot of feelings beef. Like, Savannah telling me you have issues with Angela, and now you have issues with Tts. Like, what's up? Everything started getting crazy at that event, and that's when I was the first person to, if you watch the episode, I was the first person to go to Tts to get her up, and then JoJo ran up. I was like, let's go. You do not be arguing. Like, I'm yelling at her.
No, I remember that. I remember that.
With people, like, let's go. And that's how I walked her out, JoJo out, and they left the back.
Okay.
So it really wasn't a fair chance. But I mean, with behind the scenes, before we walked out, that day I was really sick, and I was in the bathroom, and Savannah was like, oh, this is Sequoia, you're going to be on camera in a minute. Her mom, hi. I got sized up, and I was like, oh, energy's already off. So don't act crazy with me off camera, and then I want to be your friend on camera. Like,
wait, hold up, I missed that. You said somebody act crazy with you off camera?
So off camera, at the night of that event, I had met Sequoia in the bathroom before we even sat down on the couch, and Savannah introduced us, and it was just like, oh, hi. Like, a size up, and then I was like, hey,
which we can see.
I was like, I didn't know the energy, and I'm just like, okay, all right, bye.
Right.
I'll see y'all. That altercation happened, which we never knew that was going to happen at all.
Right. Okay. So, let me think, because I feel like we've answered some of these. We saw you had to sit down with your dad, and you explained that you blacked out. When it comes to the heated scene of you and Savannah and physical, would you have changed it? Yeah. Okay. So we talked about it, but what would you have changed about that scene, especially now that we think about this behind the scenes stuff? You know, with other people being involved, her knowing your storyline, her blurting something else out about, you know, you having children, and it cut this part out. So would you change how you responded now?
I would have. I think when Savannah made the statement, okay, and this is another thing. Savannah didn't make no crazy statement. She was just like, girl, goodbye. Go take care of your son. Like, leave us alone type thing. When they got up, I think at that moment, I should have removed Savannah and just been like, all right, you go over there, you stay in your separate corner, and just, again, calm the whole situation down. And I should have maybe, like, sat down with her, be like, listen, let's just talk. Let's just have a one-on-one. Like, it could have been like that. That's the one thing that I definitely say I would change, because, again, like I told her, I'm the one that reached out to her right after that event. Production found out about it. How did production find out about my personal DM?
So you personally DM Sequoia after the fight?
I actually have the DM. Let me pull it out.
Okay, well, let us know.
Do you think she probably reached out to production to have some type of protection or something?
And then another thing is like, damn, you know, my little sister, I never want my sister to be like, oh, look at my, like, this is somebody I look up to. Am I supposed to be out here fighting instead of using my words? And I reached out to her and I was just like, listen,
Sequoia, we need to discuss what happened
if you are available
at Tts party.
And she said she got to check her calendar.
That's what happened at Tts party. Let me know if you're available for brunch this week. She said, hey, I have to check my calendar, but I'll let you know if I'm available to oblige your request. So I'm like, okay.
So y'all met up after that though, right? Y'all met up after that.
Yeah.
And then we ended up weeks after that. We ended up meeting up actually. Oh. So I'm like, okay, I don't know how. I got a phone call like, oh, we want to sit down with you and Sequoia because she said you reached out. I'm like, okay, awesome. Let's do it.
You know, I have to say, now that you've given us this behind the scenes, I don't know if I personally would have found anything that I could have done differently if you said that she mentioned if you have kids. What did she say again? She said something like if you can.
Even if you can have kids. If you can even
that right there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if personally I could have found anything that I would have done differently if somebody did that.
After that statement, I wouldn't have done anything differently. Oh no, we was like it was gonna turn into Liberty City Poking Beans Project Cree. It wasn't gonna be suburban Cree. It was gonna switch real fast. Mm-hmm. So before it even got to us even having that conversation, I would have probably calmed it down. But y'all can go back to that episode and look. Like I'm sitting here talking to her. It would have been done. I would have probably walked away. Whatever. All of a sudden, you see security coming. I was like, why y'all coming? Why y'all pushing me? I'm just talking to her.
I did see him run up. Mm-hmm.
In the window, you see production. I was like, y'all really set a girl. Y'all really set me up. And I was like, okay, I got to take it. I got to roll with the punches. It is what it is. Mm. It happened. I got to move on. I had to sit down with her. Do I feel like, and I said it in my green screen after, do I feel like her and her mother are very calculating and the sit down was not genuine on their part? Yes. But I did really want to sit down with her. I was going to talk to her with or without production. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not what I portray. That's not what I ever want anybody to think that they should do. Yes, I switched in an instant when I heard that, but it wasn't like, it was never supposed to happen that way.
Okay, so speaking of, you feeling like her and her mother were calculated, this might be funny, but can we expect maybe eventually to see you and Sequoia in a more positive space this season, or is that door is closed?
The door's closed. I feel like it's just a cordial situation moving forward. I could be in the room with you and move on. You all are going to see us in the room together. I mean, of course, when I walked in the room, everybody just was trying to see. I'm like, y'all, it's not even that deep. Mm-hmm. So it's more of a hi, a bye. I'm not going to adhere to giving you another storyline ever again. So
gotcha.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut. So all the scenes that you'll see moving forward with me, Sequoia, her mom, Devon, anybody in that camp, I'm like,
right.
Hello.
Of course.
Goodbye.
Yes. Yeah. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, it's over. It's more of, y'all are going to be like, yo, Cree, this is the fakest we've ever seen her. I'm just like, the whole time. That's all I was doing. Because I'm not going to give them anything else. Like, if your singing career is your storyline, make that your storyline. So you're not going to get this black girl again at all.
Gotcha.
Okay, so Jami, before you go, because I feel like you about to ask something away from this Sequoia situation. I just want to ask one thing. What about the colorism situation?
Okay, the colorism situation. At the event, when she was at the gate and we were outside, she kept screaming, "Y'all bitches just mad that I'm pretty." I'm like, I've never met somebody in my life that constantly says, everybody's mad at me because I'm pretty. Everybody's jealous of me because I'm pretty. They hate me because I'm pretty. So I'm like, listen, you are over here telling the two darkest people on the two dark-skinned girls on the show that we hate you because you're pretty. Then all of a sudden, in the last episode, before I sit down with her, she's saying, "Oh, the Gross Sisters." She claims, or I didn't even. Well, people were like, "Oh, she was saying y'all are the Gross Sisters because of you guys are bullies." I'm like,
that's what I said. I was like, she probably meant
Gross
it.
Sisters were bullies because they needed coin. I was like, the Gross Sisters were like bullying people because they needed money. I was like, one thing about Savannah and whatever loan she got, or whatever she gave.
I was gonna ask, what about Savannah?
They gave her the money. As far as free, I'm like, as far as me, KTD Trucking gives me money. My trucking business gives me money. My clothing line gives me money. My marketing firm gives me money, and everything else that I do gives me money. So I'm like, we weren't bullying you for money, and I just felt like that was saying, oh, these, like, use a different example, like use a different bully, please. So I let her know that. I'm just like, you got to stop saying that. But that's like her whole thing. Her whole identity is people are mad at me because I'm pretty. I'm like, no, we're not. And I'm like, everybody on this cast is pretty. As much as
Girl, her mama told her that. That's what that is. She been growing up with her mama telling, girl, they just mad because you pretty. That's all.
I'm like, nobody, and no tea, no shade, but I'm just like, okay, so I can't be jealous of a baby mama with no job. Like, you can go to the studio. So I'm just like, what am I really jealous about? That you're red, that you yellow, that like.
Yes. I don't think she's yellow though, Cree. I think she's a brown. Yeah. I think she's brown. She's not yellow.
She does not look yellow to us.
Yeah. I didn't think colorism.
She does not look yellow to us.
I didn't think colorism fit in that situation. I feel like with her, she was gonna say that to anybody. Like, I'm pretty. Right. So I do understand your point about that though. Like, you walking around like thinking people just really jealous of you because you're pretty. So I definitely understand that. I just didn't think in that moment it fit, but I understand as a dark-skinned girl how you feel. I just don't think it fit in that. But I do have a question about Savannah. I wanted to know more because I know you're a person that like to, check your friends behind the scenes, if not in public. So I really wanted to know what your thoughts were for Savannah about this situation, because she wasn't even trying to hear at the party any type of reconciliation from this girl. So she just went. She literally said, "Ready, watch this," and she went off. So I wanted to know, after the fight, what was let us in on the conversation that you guys had.
After the very next day, we had a conversation that was 100% filmed, and they just chose, it was filmed. They chose not to show it, where it was right before I went to the airport, and I told her, I was like, listen, and she'll even tell it, like, she'll even say it. I was like, you were dead ass wrong when the way you approached her. Like, you walked over there ready. So I'm like, instantly, I'm like, shit, I gotta have my homegirl back. Like, in my head, I'm nervous. I'm like, please don't hit her, please. Ah! Because I'm never, that's like going out, and it always brings me back to the scene in Girlfriends, the show Girlfriends, where Joan and her friends was getting jumped, and Joan was like, and they were pissed off at Joan, like, you ain't come to help us. So I always go back to that with my group of girlfriends, like, I'm not gonna be Joan. I'm gonna help you, even if you're wrong. So I told her, I'm like, listen, you were wrong from the way you approached her. If you had an issue with the tweet, you could have either sat down or maybe just walked off, but you went up to her like, what's up? Like, you had your stance going, you put the bottle down. I was just like the whole time I was like
she gonna freestyle battle or she gonna fight? I ain't know what's gonna happen. She had the freestyle shoulders,
And I told her that was the moment that I told her, I said, listen, I'm gonna reach out to her because I'm gonna take accountability for my part. Just because regardless of what she said, however it went down, I still don't want to be known as somebody that will put their hands on somebody or somebody that just goes off. So I said, I'm gonna reach out to her and hold myself accountable, and that's it. And she was like, well, I don't need to hold myself accountable to anybody. So I'm like, all right, there y'all go, folks. So I was like, okay, it is what it is. But you have to, and I let her know, I'm like, you have to work on that because you got to hold yourself, people, you got to just forgive people and move on. And Savannah's issue was never with her attacking Tts and Angela. Savannah's issue was because Sequoia last season, during the season, she was attacking her on social media before Savannah even said anything to her. She was coming for her hair, coming for her looks, all this stuff. But because the viewers didn't know her, nobody was paying attention to her tweets like that. I'm like, why didn't y'all post those? I'm like, it's starting to look like somebody trying to give money to a network or some shit. Because I'm like, y'all should have posted that when the first tweet that put Savannah over the edge was like, here goes Chucky walking in, and she put a picture of Chucky's hair, and then put a picture of Savannah at the showcase. And that's what made her that's what made her go at her. And then Devon started going at her after it was like a trickling of events. So I'm like, we could just be the villains, sis.
So now that you explain that, and you say you do feel like Savannah could have like handled it a little bit better, let's say she gets into another situation similar. Are you gonna feel like Joan? Like, hold on.
I'll be Joan in that sense. I'll be like, listen, if you walk, and I'm gonna let her know, I'm like, you walk into these people crazy, I'm gonna, pretend to break an ankle or something. I need it because I'm not about to be anybody's time.
I feel you on that because it's like, and it's no shade to Savannah, but I do hear more about your businesses than I hear about hers. So it's like you're a person that have things that you can lose. Right. A person that ain't got nothing to lose gonna be out here just willing to risk it all, and they ain't got all to risk. So so it's safe to say that we won't be seeing any sit down happen between Sequoia and Savannah this season.
Right now, she hasn't. Normally, she tells me she has not. There was a scene that we filmed as a group setting, and one thing on Savannah's end, she was very upset with how the episode played out because they didn't show how she was being attacked first. They only showed her doing the attacking. And that's why I brought up the social media stuff. Like, she wasn't saying nothing to her. She was being attacked on social media, and then she retaliated. Like, you can only push somebody so far. And when it played out, she pretty much told them, I'm not coming to that event. No. Like, she told them straight up, it's fine. I have other shit going on, which she does have some other personal shit going on. She's like, no, I'm not doing it. You guys don't want to show that side of me with all the personal stuff I have going on, but you rather vilify me. So I'm going to miss out on this episode check, and I'm not going to the event. So she has I have seen her remove herself out of situations that can escalate.
Well, it's good to know that she learned something from the situation because, just as an adult woman, I can look at her and see angry teenage girl. Like, that has something going on that somebody needs to give some therapy for, okay? If not just for Stevie J being your damn daddy, you know what I'm saying? And that's just from the heart at the end of the day. Like, if I had that nigga for a daddy, I feel like I'd need therapy at least twice a week, okay? Because I don't know how to be a girl child of a man like that. I'm sorry. That's too much, okay? But with that being said, how many episodes do y'all have left in this season? Because I feel like we're still in season 6, right?
Yeah, it's the second half of season 6. We still were filming. I actually was supposed to film on the 25th. That was yesterday, right? I was supposed to film yesterday, but I did not go. They were very upset with me, the network. I'm like,
well.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's nice to not have to need the check. I'm gonna tell you that much. Like, I'll be there when I want to be there. That's nice, girl.
I feel like it.
I mean, in that, so revert back to that. I was still getting a check. I was casted for a monster production for Secret Society Part 2. So
can you say that one more time?
Your sound was going out.
Yeah.
Do you have your AirPods? Oh, you probably should have had those in because, like, I think your air conditioner or your heater kicked on, and so now it's competing for your mic.
Y'all hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So let us know where that other check is coming.
The other check is coming from Biasha Productions. She had an amazing movie out called Secret Society, but now this is Secret Society Part 2.
Okay.
And I'm super excited. Your girl got a role.
Yes.
Pays to be the villain.
Okay.
I learned from Mimi Leaks, y'all. I learned from Mimi.
I have to say, I have not seen you light up like that this whole interview talking about the TV show stuff. It wasn't until you started talking about your own real life stuff that I was like, oh, I can see.
Right.
There you go.
No,
and so speaking of that, congratulations on that, first of all.
Right. Congratulations.
now that you have so many other things going on, will you be back for another season of Growing Up Hip Hop, or do you see yourself going into other lanes?
I honestly see myself going into other lanes. There's been so many opportunities that are now being thrown my way from different networks and bigger checks. And I'm like, oh, this is great to be a part of certain things. And acting was always like a passion project for me. It was never something that I thought I could even do. And I was like, you know, I don't think I'm that girl that should be on screen, or, you know, I think I'm too thick for screen, or I think I'm too tall, or I'm too dark.
I understand that.
You know what I'm saying? So the fact that I did it, and Miasha was like, the role was actually for a man, and she was like, I didn't know that this cast member needed to be slim thick. I was like, oh God. She was like, I didn't know. But the cast is crazy. I can't give away like the other people that are on it just yet. But the people that I got to work with, I'm like, oh wow, like this is big. Like, people that I didn't think that I would. I mean, I could say the director. The director is Jamal Hill. Never thought I would even be in a room with Jamal Hill. Never thought I would be in the room with the people that I'm in the room with. And you know, she gave a girl from Miami. She was like, you're from Miami, you're from town, I'll have you in part 2. And part 2 is just bigger and better because Secret Society Part 1 did so well. So
okay, so what network or streaming service is that on?
Yeah.
So Society Part 1 is on Amazon currently.
Okay.
It was number 1 on Amazon for a while. Right now, she is going between 2 major networks that are actually fighting to see who can get the premiere of it.
I love it. You said Secret Societies, right? 1 and 2.
I'm going to go look.
Okay, perfect.
I have Amazon, so I'm going to go look it up.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to go get caught up. Yes, look, I'm about to add it to my watch list now.
Yes,
we're excited. We love to see
it.
I'm excited. I'm very, very happy. We film tomorrow again. And movies are totally different than reality. Like a million times different. But I love it. I love the fashion. Miasha is just great. She's director, writer. She's like a powerful Black woman. And Secret Society used to be like books. So she wrote novels. And decided during COVID, she was like, I want to make a movie. And she had funded her movie 100%, and it was successful. Wow. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Definitely gold. Like, I just love watching her because I love like bossed up women like that. And I just be sitting there like, yeah, so let me ask you this question because I can just see how she lights up and like these characters, like you guys really came to life and this is what I actually wanted. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So outside of just the acting, what other businesses are you working on? We want you to promote yourself. Let the people know what else you have going on outside of that.
Yes, so I have Inspire Agency, which is an experiential marketing firm and event firm. So I have that. And then I have Faith in Motion, which is a fitness clothing line. It's actually a passion project from my mom, but we started that. So it's me, my mom, and my sister, Tanir, who you guys saw on episode 1. So that's been something that we've been building and growing together. My mom is a crazy gym rat. So I'm like, yeah, you do that part. I'll just do the marketing and I'll wear the clothes and be cute outside. I also have my trekking business, which is my bread and butter. I love it. I didn't know I was going to be a female trucker person. So I'm actually finishing class to do my CDL. So I will know how to drive a semi-truck. I'm not going to drive it to pick up stuff, but I'm getting it because I like to know what's going on. I like to figure out.
You're investing.
I'm talking to my driver and the driver's in Philadelphia somewhere. And he's like, this broke down. I'm like, I don't want to just be that person. What broke down? Let me Google it. No. I need to know what's going on and to be able to routes and things like that. So
love it.
That's definitely a big industry. And if any women want to boss up real quick, let me know because that is what you need to get into. So.
Okay.
Projects right now.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you for coming on. We enjoyed having you. I love talking to you, of course, about the show, but even more so about your personal projects, because that's whenever we got to see the real glow. Second time having you. It's always good to have you. So, we just appreciate you coming on.
What? Wait, where is my fourth lady? I saw her comments. Is she okay? How's she doing?
Yes, she's recovering.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and she will be back with us actually today. Because it's pre-recorded, so the show that we're doing live, she will be there finally, and we've missed her. So
finally,
yes.
I thought I'm like, I hope she's okay.
Yeah, the COVID girl, the COVID.
Thank you so much. It's always a good time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. We hope y'all enjoyed this interview, but y'all, it's more to come. It's Thursday, another Ooh Ladies First Panel show live on my channel right now. So click the link in the description box so you can go ahead and meet us there. Bye.